welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Steve Van Eiderstein. Thank y'all for joining me today as I continue to go through the daily meditations from James Allen's Daily Reader. And this will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning this will be my first time reading or hearing the daily meditation right on this podcast with you. So you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think this one's going back to the old style. We had 3 days of the disciple and master type of dynamic, and that was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. So a little sad to see this as the normal, but the normal's fantastic as well. So here we go. April 26th of James Allen's Daily Meditations. Be strenuous in effort, patient in endurance, and strong in resolution. By these 4 things is the heart defiled: the craving for pleasure, the clinging to temporal things, the love of self, and the lust for personal continuance. From these 4 defilements spring all sins and sorrows. Wash thou thy heart, put away thy sensual cravings, detach thy mind from the wish for possessions, abandon self-defense and self-importance. Thus, putting away all cravings, thou wilt attain satisfaction. Detach thy mind from the love of perishable things, thou wilt acquire wisdom. Abandon the thought of self, thou wilt come to peace. He who is pure is free from desire. He does not crave for sensual excitements. He sets no value on perishable things. He is the same in riches and poverty, in success or failure, in victory or defeat, in life or death. His happiness remains, his rest is sure. Hold fast to love, and let it shape thy doing. I like this. I like this one a lot. I like how it gives the 4 defilements here, right? 4 things. By these 4 things is the heart defiled, right? Because we talk about how we have to purify, how we have to go through these things and pursue righteousness. And he's giving us the 4 ways that we give in to sin. He's giving us the 4 ways that sin is instigated, or sin is fallen temptation to. Right? So, and that's quite exciting. Like I always say, I love the clarity and the preciseness at which James Allen usually addresses the topic he's trying to talk about. Doesn't leave much room for wiggle. Doesn't leave much room to interpret, really, which is a good thing for me. So, here we go again. Be strenuous in effort, patient in endurance, strong in resolution. So be committed to your goal. Be patient in endurance. Meaning, know that the things you're doing have a reason. The things you're doing will pay off in the end. The things you're going through, the pains and the sufferings and the things that happen in life are the things that teach us. And strenuous in effort. Be disciplined. Be rigorous about these things. Be committed to your practice of spiritual life. By these 4 things is the heart defiled. All right, so here we go. These 4 things. The craving for pleasure. So that's drugs, that's alcohol, that's relationships, that's sex, that's attention, that's food. A lot that falls under those categories. Those pleasures of the skin, right? A lot that goes there. The clinging to temporal things, right? The clinging to old ideas, clinging to old concepts, clinging to pride, ego, those types of things. I'm going to look at temporal real quick. Relating to worldly as opposed to spiritual affairs. Secular. Okay. I didn't realize that was that definition. I'm glad I looked it up. So, worldly things. Clinging to worldly things is what temporal means. That's a great word there. The love of self, right? Like your self-aggrandizing thinking, your huge, our egos, how highly we think of ourselves and how self-centered we actually are, right? How we think everything is in the perspective of us, everything is about us, everything has to be regarding me. And then the lust for personal continuance. The lust, the desire, the deep desire, that driving desire to have a legacy, to be remembered, to make an impact. For me specifically, for my personality and my name to live in the history books for one reason or another. That lust for personal continuance. A lot of things are done in the name of personal continuance. From these 4 defilements spring all sins and sorrow. I truly believe that every single one of my own desires that I've suffered for comes from that. Every single thing that I've every single sin, I should say, I've committed in thought or action was related to something like that. That craving for pleasure, the clinging to worldly things, the love of self, the lust for personal continuance. Wash thou thy heart. Okay, so we're getting some instructions here, right? Wash thou thy heart. Cleanse yourself, right? Clean. Get that filth, get the darkness out. Put away sensual cravings. Those lusts we have, those cravings, those desires we have for physical pleasure, for those chemical releases we get, put those away. Detach thy mind from the wish for possessions, right? Let go of the association you have to the things around you, and do not let the material world define you anymore. Do not let your character, your personality, or you be defined by what is outside of you. Abandon self-defense and self-importance. Understand that at the end of the day, you're just a person. You're just a human being. You're just a spirit, right? To surrender our own selves to the spiritual walk has got to be one of the most difficult things to do. Because we believe we are important. We believe we're specially made for something. We want to believe we uniquely are needed and need to be remembered. But that's all ego. That will lead us down a path where we're trying to strive to find something to feed our egos instead of surrendering ourselves fully to the spiritual life and then letting the spiritual life guide us to where we should be going and being that servant of truth and goodness. Abandon self-defense and self-importance. That is a huge ask. Huge ask there. But the more you can do that, the more you practice that, the more joy and freedom you will find. I guarantee that. Thus, so here we go. This is the part where it's like, you do those 4 things. Like, I like how this is set up. This is the problem. This is what you got to do. Now, if you do these things, this is what you get. Right? Everyone likes to know what results from taking these actions that we get to have some faith in. Thus, putting away all cravings. So, there we go. A craving for pleasure. That's the first one we've talked about. Thou wilt attain to satisfaction. So, this was a concept that was relatively new to my understanding within the last year or so. Contentment and satisfaction, probably 2 years actually. Contentment and satisfaction in life are really born from letting go of those sensual desires, right? Because if we constantly are running or thinking about that or trying to tell ourselves this is what we deserve, and aiming for a sensual desire as a goal, the present moment, the now, the where you are will never be good enough. You will never have contentment and satisfaction in your life. But if you let go of those sensual desires, you'll find more peace and happiness than you ever thought possible. Detach thy mind from the love of perishable things. Everything in this world is perishable. Everything materially is on loan. Everything is perishable. Nothing is permanent. Everything we own and we delude ourselves with the concept of ownership is not ours. We will not take it with us. It's temporarily loaned to us in this world. Everything. Food, energy, material. And when you can do that, thou wilt acquire wisdom. Because you'll see where the true path lies. You'll see where the true goals are. You'll see the truth. When you quit pursuing the worldly status and possessions. Abandoning the thought of self, right? That self-centeredness, that perspective that everything's is about me, and if it's not about me, it should be. Abandoning the thought of self, thou wilt come to peace, serenity. When you can think of the needs of others and you can place others in your mind rather than just yourself and what you get out of the situation and how it's such an inconvenience to you to help somebody else. When you can stop having those thoughts They can just genuinely have love for another human being and try to be helping them out. You will find peace. You will find serenity. We get too concerned with our own self-image. We get too concerned with our own emotions. When you abandon the thought of yourself, you will come to peace. He who is pure is free from desire. He does not crave for sensual excitements, right? He has no value on perishable things. He is the same in riches and poverty, in success or failure, in victory or defeat, in life or death. That's a steep list of qualities in there, isn't it? He who is pure is free from desire, right? Like that's what we're aiming for, purity, total righteousness, Christ-like behavior, Christ-like character, if you want to go down that line. And he who is pure is free from desire. That's the first one. He does not crave for sensual excitements, right? He doesn't. Those sensual excitements hold no value for him anymore. And the understanding that they are only a distraction will set in. He does not crave for sensual excitements. He has no value on perishable things. The wealth of the world does not give him value. He doesn't place value on it, right? The world in and of itself does not define this person, the man that is on a spiritual journey and is pursuing this way of life. He's the same in riches and poverty, success or failure, victory or defeat, in life or death. A pure man's character is unshakable. It cannot be rocked, cannot be bought. A man of pure character can be 100% authentic all of the time when they've achieved that level of purity. What an amazing thing. Success or failure, victory, defeat, life or death. The humility that comes with remaining consistent in practicing the principles of a spiritual way of life is huge. And it's a beautiful thing to see in somebody. He ends the main part. His happiness remains, his rest is sure. There's a promise. When we do this, his happiness remains, his rest is sure. He knows he's going to rest. He's lived a good life. He's lived a life of a good man. And his happiness will remain. His rest is sure. He closes it with this: hold fast to love, and let it shape thy doing. Let everything be from a place of loving energy within yourself. It's a great way to live. It's a great guide to use on how to treat people and how to practice these principles and how to live this life. Hold fast to love. All right, well, thank you all for joining me today. Great reading, lots of insight, lots of instruction, a lot of things to aspire to here, right? And so I really am grateful for today's reading. Followed the last 3 days just effortlessly, perfectly, and really appreciate it. So I'm excited to see where the rest of April brings us as we finish it out here over the course of this week, I believe. And we'll go from there. So until next time, thanks.